are floating. You are floating on the waves, in the current of energy. You are floating into your new bodies, into your new life. I am Saint Germain, guardian of the violet flame. I am Saint Germain, speaking of transmutation, transformation. We have been approaching your planet on deeper and deeper connective levels in the last 35 years or so. Extremely connecting deeper and deeper and accelerating more and more the energy vibrations of transmutation, transformation onto the planet. We are with you. We are the Ascended Master Saint Germain and the energy vibration of the violet flame. We are with you, and we are asking you to embrace the violet flame in my name, Saint Germain. Begin to chant within yourselves, within the tone of your voice. Saint Germain, Saint Germain, Saint Germain of the violet flame. Saint Germain, Saint Germain, Saint Germain of the violet flame. Saint Germain, Saint Germain, Saint Germain of the violet flame. I am Saint Germain. I am Saint Germain, and I am bringing forth the violet flame. This age is the age of transmutation. This age is the age of taking the material form and transforming that material into the divine. The material world of the third dimension, the material world that has seemed so concrete, is changing into the vibration of the divine. We are Saint Germain, guardian of the violet flame. We are Saint Germain. We are with you. It is important that you understand the guardian of this age. I am the guardian of this age. It is important that you understand transmutation. Each and every one of you, each of your souls, each of the divine nature of your souls agreed to come and incarnate into the material form at this time. You agreed to come and incarnate into the material form. You agreed to this because you knew that you would be part and parcel of changing the material. Like a sculptor works with clay, taking the clay and forming it into new shapes and new forms, you are reforming the planet. You are reforming it through yourselves, and sometimes this is difficult. Many of you have noticed that the physical bodies are feeling this opening. There is a death and rebirth process that is going on. This death and rebirth process you have been moving through. Remember when I spoke to you last March, April, about the change in the vibration of the emotional karma? Remember when I spoke to you about the release of all of your emotional karma, the threads of emotional karma coming through the generations of those physical forms that you are genetically connected to? There's a great deal about genetics that is unknown, and you are moving into some levels of understanding more about the genetics in your world. The genetics of each body, the genetics of each self, the genetic makeup that connects you back through the material karma. So each time you've incarnated onto the earth, you have accrued karma. You have created karmic vibrations, what you might call negative karma and positive karma. Genetically, you choose to incarnate in a genetic lineage or line that has specific karma that is understanding to your soul and to what your soul needs to overcome, break through, to move into its enlightenment. And so when the emotional karma began to move out of the body, the emotional karma was tied to the genetics. And so there's a rumbling in the whole history of humanity, the whole history of your ancestry, the whole history of your genetic vibratory bodies. And that began to shift you on cellular levels. You understand that the Ascended Master Kuan Yin has spoken to you about your kinship with the flowers, has spoken to you about your flower nature and the opening of that flower nature. The opening of that flower nature, the moving into it, means there is changes and shifts inside you. So the nervous systems in the bodies are the nervous systems in the body are very affected, and each one of you expresses the nervous systems in different ways. So you may be feeling physical symptoms. The physical symptoms may come through dizziness, may come through sounds that you are even hearing. Some of you are hearing new frequencies inside the inner ears and the middle ears. Some of you are experiencing dizziness. Some of you are experiencing nausea. Some of you experience extreme sleepiness and very active dreams. So your genetic body is connected to the glandular system and the nervous system in the physical. And there's a lot of shifting going on in the nervous system, in the cellular structure, and in the genetic memory that you have. And so this causes lots of movement in the chakras and in the chakra system and the third eye especially. And so there is a lot of awareness that is coming in on different levels of people. Sometimes it's through the dreams or through even visions, even in the daylight out of the corner of the eye. You may have lots of visionary changing, especially coming up in the next 2 months on the earth. So pay attention to the dreams, pay attention to symbols that come your way, however they come. You are learning to understand an old language, an ancient language, a new language, a language not of the auditory verbal, but a language of more of the telepathic. And so a lot of you are opening up to telepathy, and you are feeling sometimes slightly dizzy, or again you may hear frequencies or sounds. These are indications that your nature of telepathy is opening up. How will you first experience it? For the most part, your mental minds have shut down to that awareness, so you will first experience it through a greater awareness of your intuitive abilities. You will begin to be more and more aware of knowing things, and knowing things before they happen. It is so subtle at first that you do not always value it, but pay attention now if you think of a person and then they get in touch with you, or a thought comes up or an awareness comes up. Not to project that awareness as a solid knowing, a mental knowing, but just to be aware of it, because you are opening on a deeper level this part of the mind or the brain that communicated in a different way in the past. And so these vibrations are going through the body. It's very important that you give yourself time on the earth so that you can ease yourself into accepting new vibrations and not have them be affected by the electrical and technological vibrations on the planet, such as cell towers and electrical emanations from electricity and electrical energy. So the more, and it's impossible to fully stay away from it, but the more you can get out in nature and be without electrical or batteries or cell phones on your body, the better you will be. We have said this over and over, and we will say this again. Being on the earth as much as possible will help you in dealing with these energy vibrations, and help you in dealing with these energy vibrations that are moving through your body. And so in a sense, there is electrical vibrations on the earth. They're like a net, and they tend to capture some of the vibrations that are going through your body and create some short circuits in the body. In order to alleviate this, you need to get the spine onto the earth. Trees, for example, going to a forest or a redwood forest or a large forest and spending some time in the quiet of the forest on the earth and with the trees is extremely helpful for you. The trees are sentinels on your planet. The trees have agreed, they are living beings, and they had agreed to come to the earth just as you have agreed to incarnate to the earth. They had agreed to come and be sentinels on the earth. There's changes going on, and they're coming to the end of their karmic agreement with the earth. And so that's another story for the future, but in the future you may not have trees on the earth the way you have them now.